All right, guys, how's it going? So here we are. Let's see. It's the second. It's about a quarter of noon for me here, and it looks like we got 4 or 5 contenders up here. Appreciate you guys posting. Oh, let's see. Did I miss anyone? Okay, first up, I've got Mr. Jack 245. So Mr. Jack 245, it looks like a new handle. I don't know if you. I think perhaps you're a new member. I don't recall seeing your handle in here before, but very, very glad to have you. This is some stellar work, right? Just gorgeous. Beautifully done, right? So, I mean, all the subdivision here and to get it on a daily, very, very well done, right? I love the way you worked with the median lines here to find that angle, right? So you've got this, I mean, there's not much I can do to add here. She's absolutely perfect, right? Literally right into the buy zone between the 50 and the 618. Per the idea that we've got a 1, we're going into our 2. Now, the only thing that I would just add that you may have already spotted as well. What the hell is that? They've upgraded Trading View a bit, and every now and then I get something on here. I don't know what it is. What the hell is that? Oh, it's my fib templates. Interesting, right? It's just some new stuff they're doing to it. I know it makes it better, but first it takes a minute to get used to it. So per your labeling here, which I've just kind of just grabbed this on here and let's bring it down. Okay, so if this is a 1, well, of course now we're same idea. We're here in the buy zone. You know, the only thing that I would look at in terms of timing your entry here, you're getting algoed in here. So let me let's take that off here. So you can see that. So they've got a sequence running here. This is not a great looking start. If you were looking for some sort of a 5 to come off of that. Double bottom down here is right. We got to always right. It's always an issue with markets. Right, double bottoms are so pervasive, so you got to be. That's why I don't enter breakouts ever, just because of that. Right, the exact same reason. Right, I've been burned way too many times. So it's just a hard rule for me. Now, what here? Let me open this up a little bit more so you can see this. So you got a sequence. You got an algo in here, right? So this algo is in every market, every time frame, all day, every day, never stops, never gets turned off. Right. So here you go. So here's one. Right, you can see the reaction here. All right. So there's the first one. But you've got a series running here, right, which is what they do. Right, so you've got 1 going into 2, right? You see the reaction here, right? This gets second target here. So you've got 1. Oh, God, looks like there's another one in there too. All right, so you've got this one again. So you got this one. Then you got the one we're looking at right here. Now, it looks like you might have run into the same thing down here. Right, so if I bring this to whatever pivot they're using, right? So here we're right in the kill zone now. So your idea here is potentially that this would bring us down here to this algo target per the we know, right? So we're just looking at it, right? We know an algorithm is in here. We know what they just did, right? Doesn't mean that it must get to that target. It just means that you've got an algorithm here that's driving that. Now we got to pull back out and say, okay, well, if it's going to get that target, how would that line up with regards to our larger wave structure and what we'd be anticipating? And note what you get here. I see you get the golden zone. Oh, Jesus, where's my thing here? Get the target right at the golden zone, right as we come towards, now that's visible range, but we could, let's just take a look here just for fun. Let's get that out of here and let's do a fixed range and let's draw it up. See how we look in terms of where we might be landing. All right, so you can see all of your high value. So your POC is under the 65. You can. This is kind of interesting. If I pull this over, we get a low volume node right at the golden zone. Right, so that's something to look for. Right, so if I were taking this trade, I'd put my stop a little bit below the POC because that's commonly tested. Right, just on a swing like that, there'll be an algorithm there that will know that. So right here, as you sit looking at this, of course, if you wait, the risk is, thing takes off without you, right? Because nothing says that this algorithm must get its target, right? Because it's fighting. Well, of course, right. There's a little algo battle here on time frames because you've got a buy side algorithm that's active now, right? Because we've broken the 50, so there's one in here pushing for that target up here. and then you've got this small little lower time frame algorithm that's running here, this sequence. Now eventually, right, one side's gonna blow out of here, but you got a series. This series, you'll have to work through every one of these pivots because we know an algorithm used it, right? So you'll have to get through that one, then that one, right? So here's the, for this to actually confirm that we're on our way, right, we got to break the one from the pivot high, right? So that one has to break. So you can kind of anticipate, okay, even if we start to go here, likely a reaction there. That, you know, likely, nothing says it must be, right? No, we got a high volume up here. So if we get a 1-2, now we're off. Right, would look good. Now, if you're down here, you know, if it does roll over a little further and we come down here to test the algorithm that's here, you know, you don't need to pick the turn, right? You don't need to make the hero play, right? So that the advantage here of taking the trade down here is that your stop is so tight, right? So it's very low capital risk here, assuming you don't, you know, dump a bunch of size into it. But you can take a small piece here, and then if you get the turn, then I'd start to look for, you know, I'm down on a 60. Maybe, you know, you're trying to get into the 2 at this degree, right? Now you take some risks there because it can come down here, and then all of a sudden you get a rip out of this, right? This algorithm kicks, and you know, up you go. So you got to kind of manage that carefully. But when I'm doing this, I like to take maybe 25-30% of what I want to allocate to the trade right at this location, because if I'm stopped, right, it's not going to hurt me too badly. Right, it's a jab, not an uppercut to the jaw. So now if I get the turn, right, now I want to start looking for places to add, right? You want to add when you got a little cushion there, it starts to go, right? Now knowing, right, at some point there's likely a retrace, right? You're going to have to decide, am I willing to withstand that, right? And at this point it would be house money, but now, all right, that's the one you got to get through, right? So maybe you get something like this. Now you're in the clear on that 5. Now if you get that, right, of course I can tell, obviously clearly you studied Elliott Wave, right? Well, now we're just waiting for that one. All right, so it's just a question of, you know, do you want to trade the internal little micro swings down here? You sent me a daily, right? So you might say, shit, who cares about that? I'm looking to get in here because I got a target up here at 69. So, you know, this piddly little stuff, right? You know, perhaps you just don't care about. Right, and I completely understand that, right? So sometimes we get so focused on what's going on intra-bar, we forget to step back and look at the daily and say, all right, do I really even care about the little squiggles? Because I've got a big target up here, I've got clarity on where my stop is, and I'm you know, looking to get positioned here. So the other thought is, again, I don't know if you're an option trader, that's another thought. Buy right at the money here. You know, you're stalled here. The market's been retracing, so at the money or slightly in the money, probably reasonable valuation. Great looking work. Really nice to see. Very, very glad to have you on board in the community, Mr. Jack245. You make my job easy. All right, there we go. Okay, let me, that's very well done. I'm going to move on to Grant F, so I'll be back in 1 sec. All right, members. Next up, I got Grant F here with a gift for all of you. Shit, I got to hurry up and get this done here. So those of you that are looking for trades, this is, holy shit, right? Just, can we Photoshop it any better? You really can't. I mean, nice work here. It's a little tricky on the count here, so well done on digging that out. Interesting, right? So the AB, oh, fuck. Oh, it's probably a WX. Well, shit, it doesn't matter, right? It's corrective. And it was right to the Vegas wave, right in the lips. Then here's the big kick. So I love the ABC. There are a couple of things just to note here, right? Which Grant, you may have already gotten this. So we're right. I mean, look how gorgeous that is between the 100 and the 618. Now, I am going to do this here just for memory. I do this for myself half the time. I'm just going to put, here, let's go this one. All right, so we've just tagged the golden zone as you had it as the 618. I'm just want to make this distinction here because what we have here now, right, and Grant, I'm assuming you know this, what we have here is a golden corner pocket. Right, we've just tagged the corner. We've got 80% probability if that pivot holds to get to the median line, right? It's my favorite trade. I know you guys have heard me say this before. If I could only have one trade, only one, this is it. Right, so why would I say that? Well, number one, very low risk, right? Where stop can be right under the 65, right? If you want to be tight on it. So just think about our risk reward here, right? So if we're buying it here, right, our target is the median line here. Let's go give it a little bit of a cushion. So let's think about what you've got there. So if you're going to get median line, right, you don't know when you're going to get it. Well, there's 3-1. If you're going to get the algo target off of the golden zone, there's 7-1. And if you're going to get a true third, right, we know the negative 100 will be our shorthand for a 1618. So there's 13 to 1. So the way I would trade that, I would have interim targets, right? So I'd have first target, right? Then I'd have second target, then I'd have a third target. So you're taking partial profits along the way, right? So there's no reason to assume that won't go there. None, right? Well, but this kind of validates, right? Okay, I got a hard corner here. I know I've got a good pivot. Once I get to the median line, now you can anticipate that if you got there, right, because there'll be plenty of people trading this and plenty of algos trading it. If you get there, right, you might see that, right? Then, right, it might, right, or further, right? You don't know, right? So, but those are all the kind of levels you're going to look for as potential locations to take partial profit, because you can anticipate there'll be reactions there. There'll be other traders in the market, and so you've got all of that. Those are high-class problems, right? When you were coming here, well, how much profit should I take here? What percentage? But right now, this is entry time right now, and I think right down here, we've just went down into the RSI and got, I hate that term, oversold, but we got into the buy zone. Let's just say it that way. We got below 70. We've curled back around. Now we're rallying. Now, ideally, you're going to go back up here and get up over 70 down here. Pardon me, I should have said minus. We got below 30. Well, now we're targeting up above 70. Which you can, you can just see it, right? If that's going to happen, right, you can just kind of see, well, if that's going to go, we're going to get the median line. Right now, if it's going to come back down, we're going to get our retrace, right? If it's going to go again. Good stuff, guys. Heads up, right? So I'm going to hurry up and get this done. So those of you looking for a trade, I'm on this. Right? I might pause here and go grab it myself. That's great setup. I like both of them. Actually, I like Mr. Jacks and I like Grant F. Right? Put some capital to work. I always often tell friends of mine and people in the business what a luxury it is, because I have so many of you scouring for good trade setups that I would not have looked at this, right? I never would have caught it. And same with Camping World, right? It's just equities I wouldn't have thought to look at. So this is a perk for all of us, right? So guys, heads up. I'm jumping on both of those. All right, back in a second. Great work, Grant F. Great work. Okay, back in a sec. Well, I tell you what, guys, I am glad I freed up some capital in my traditional, I guess I'll call it that way, in my traditionals account, because you guys, these are just gifts, right? I got to make a point of everybody that's a traditional trader. This is 3 in a row, right? This is just another beautiful setup. Top Hat Panda Magician, this is beautiful work here. All I've done here, so I'm just working off of yours, right? So it's so well done. I just put the larger degree in that you had left off. So I'm with you on the WXY. It doesn't matter, right? It's just corrective. But this, God, you did a beautiful job here, right? Really well done, right? It's not easy to get that, to dig that out, right? So what he's, for those other members here that are watching here, it's taking the time to work through it, right? So you get a high degree of confidence. So there's conviction. You get up here and you go, all right, I know exactly where I am. And because you've worked through this, there's just there's an ease at which point you're entering the market. Because now, so here being a great example, it's just exactly like we try and teach, right? So if we're coming down here, look how tight we would be in terms of the risk. That's why we like the golden corner. That's why we like the golden zone, right? It's such a low amount of risk relative to the potential there. I'd rather get stopped out 3 times in a row, 3 little losers, and be prepared to go again, because I've done this analysis. So I know where the probabilities lie. Now, that doesn't mean we can't you can just look at this. Right, clearly, right, just the geometry could take over, and we're back down here testing the channel. It's because we're really, if you look at this thing, the channel is really dictating the way the market's moving, right? So remember, always, it's that we just identify the geometry in the market. The market's creating this, right? We're just connecting dots. Right? So for the market to come down here at a higher degree, right? So if we were to get a deeper retrace, maybe it comes 786 here, right? And you're relabeling, and this becomes 1 2 1 2. But look at the potential confluence here. So if I go swing low, right? Remember, an algo doesn't care at all about an Elliott count, right? So if I just go swing high, just dominant to dominant, well, look where my 50 is. Now look at the structure here, right? You could just, I like to draw it like this, where I'll get both the pivots, right? So I got this pivot, this pivot, this pivot, this pivot. Jesus, if this comes down here, this is as I will often say, why would you not buy that? I mean, the only reason you wouldn't buy that is you didn't have capital free to allocate to it, or you had something you liked better, right? And you just, I mean, you can only buy so many things. Beautiful work. So you guys have been studying, practicing. I don't know. The work just gets better and better. I mean, I'm talking about day to day. Very well done, right? I got a shopping list here. So guys, heads up, right? If this comes down just a little bit, I mean, we're pushing the 50 right down. I'd love to get it just a touch lower. But note here, right, the geometry influence here is we're sitting here wrestling with the center line. We're down on a 60, right? So I'd be nibbling here if you could get, see, I would do it this way. I'd want to be a little bit ahead of this pivot. All right, so if I could get, oh, Jesus, right, we're talking about, very small amount of money here. So I might actually buy an at-the-money call just in case it starts to run. But if I'm buying the underlying, I'd want to buy here at the 50 with an add here at the golden zone relative. See, he's drawn it from the 2. So he's got it here, right? So the confluence there is so good, I don't want to miss that, right? So given how tight I can be on the stop. So either at the money calls, or I like to buy slightly in the money with minimum 90 days, right? You got to pay a little bit more for that, but then you've got some staying power. So if it waffles for a little bit here, you're not going, oh, fuck, right? The time decay is killing me. You don't worry if it spends a week there building a base and then it starts to run. But this is so good, right? You want to nibble. Well, shit, we're at the 50, right? Should I take a nibble now? Yeah, that's the advantage of grabbing some options here, right? And then looking to lever it up. So essentially, you're adding leverage by going to the underlying, right? So the options there, just in case you don't miss it. For those of you who are familiar with it, they're comfortable trading options, and then you're looking for the precision of the entry in that box, right? I mean, what are we talking? 157 to 155-ish. Great stuff, guys. God, I got to hurry up and get this out. For those of you looking for trades, there's 3 gorgeous trades in a row. Just gorgeous. Very well done, guys. Let's see, I'm looking at your confidence here. I think you're, I'm reading your notes, Top Hat Panda. Losing confidence in this concept the pros 4 is taking so long. Both 4 and 2 would be sharp. True, but I would defer to the geometry and just the structure, right? The context of where you are. I wouldn't hesitate at all here on the buy, but I'd sure as hell be disciplined on the stop. Even use something like this, right? Just a random pivot that you see here, right? So I'd want to be underneath that, right, for my stop, somewhere in this zone. You get a little structure that you can kind of play off of a prior significant high here. Looks, God, gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm buying that too. All right. What do I got next? So Top Hat Panda, I think, right, because the risk is so small here, I think you're buying there all day long. I wouldn't, and if you do get stopped out, right, it's a jab, right? Not a body blow. Okay. Good looking good. I got Rick says, took my cue on gold. Okay. So that'll be, and then I got Julesy. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have Julesy giving me the same thing? Oh, that's interesting. I think he's giving me the same thing as we did above. Okay, interesting. All right, so that should tell you guys we got two members looking at the same equity. Okay, great job, Top Hat, and back in 1 sec. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up here. I've got Rixus82 was nice enough to give us his thoughts on gold here. Let's see. This is truck backing up time for me. All right, so definitely he likes it here. So. When I get one of our advanced belts here, like a Rixus, what I like to do is I won't look at his until I go do my own and kind of update mine. I've struggled with gold a little bit. I think on a larger degree, there's still a few question marks, and I was kind of hoping you dig in over here, but I suppose at this point it doesn't really matter. Whatever we completed here, now we're in the process of correcting it. So. I like your. Let's see. Is this the one I can? Let's see. So I guess I can't click. Yeah, I guess I can't. Okay, so I'm with you. When I was doing mine, I had no doubt in my mind you were going to call that a triangle. So I was not surprised. I have 2 counts for this. So I'm with you here. I don't disagree here. This is a strong contender. This surprised me a little bit that you went out here, right? So you went to an expanded B to get the C. Because the 3 here, see, so mine, I've got the X over here. So, I mean, not that this can't be accurate, right? It's now how do we finish? Can we be done down here? And I see the structure you're working with here. Obviously, we've got nice congestion over here. So if we were to put a volume profile on that, that would be reflected there. I like this. I don't dislike this here. Certainly just playing off of this and the idea that we could be finished. It's a little tricky to get this to finish here. You've got to do it. Well, if this is B and we're down to the C, you got to do it in a diagonal. It would be an expanding diagonal, so you'd have 5 longer than 3, 3 longer than 1. So it's not ideal, but it's certainly not bad. So I wouldn't discourage you in any way from being a buyer down here. I just think you got to be prepared for a little bit lower. I like it a little bit lower. Not that I wouldn't nibble here, but I think the bigger opportunity is to come in a little bit lower. So let's see. I've got two counts here. Oh, here, this is the one that's closer to yours. Now I went, Jesus, you got to go all the way out to the 24 to get this to be able to, this is the one where I just focused over here, right? So let me come back to this because this is the one that I think is, it's both interesting, right, and how technically it trades, right? No shock, but it's difficult because, and we've been through this many. So shit, this is going back to 2016. So we've looked at this at least a dozen times. Now, is it 1, 2 via the WXY, or is it 1, 2, 1, 2? Could be either, right? Since we aren't going to, I mean, shit, it could be 2 years before we can work all the way backwards to this and say, do we need that 1, 2 to complete? Now, what I do, and I'm sure Rixus does the exact same thing, I started looking for where can I find very clear 3s and 5s, right? Where I don't have to go, oh, fuck, I don't know what that is. So this here is clear as a bell to me. This is absolutely got to be factored in, right? So here is a very clean impulse, and then the reaction we get, right, which was news driven. That's the COVID push. So coming off of this, I still am inclined to go 1 and then call it a running flat, or fuck, I don't know that it matters. The WXY, we get over here. I mean, if you really dug through the subdivision, you're going to end up with a WXY because this is so complex. So 1, 2. So that would imply for me that since I've got a completed impulse, I come down here and I get this very sharp sell-off. I mean, that's COVID, right? So we get that sell-off and then the ripping rally that comes off of it. To me, this looks like we complete the impulse up here. So off of the 2015, November 2015 low, looks to me like we've completed the impulse. Now, granted, the 4 to the 2 is not what you'd hope for. Right? So right, we talk about this all the time, right? Do we have the right look? Do we have the right look here? Well, you wouldn't call that ideal. Definitely not. Now, there's a few things that are influencing my thinking there. So, first off, if I do it this way, so we just look at wave relationships. So if I go length of the 1 projected from the proposed 2 here, I get it right on this. Right, this is literally right to the tick, right? We go right. We just get through again, we've looked at this before. We get just through the 1618, right? Relative to this is the 1, this is the 2. Into the 1618, 175 window, boom, COVID low. COVID low does not overlap 1, so I'm inclined to plant the 4 there, even though I know that it's very askew. See, the problem is, well, let's consider the alternate. If it were 1, 2, you could play it that way as well. Right? You could still do it this way. You could do this one. Oh fuck, which one's the highest pivot? Oh, it looks like this is our highest pivot, and this would be our 2 here. Right, it's not. So I mean, here you get the 1618 here, but it doesn't look like you could complete here, right? So, but it is. Now that's interesting, right? Note that what we're doing here, this is actually a golden corner. So you're getting the median line as you hit the 1618. Here, let me put that back together again. I've just shown this so many times. I'm assuming you guys seen this, right? So here's your perfect tag in the golden zone, which is why I like this as the golden corner. Even though we break here, we come back, we go golden zone, I would keep this here, right? The idea being, as long as that pivot holds, boom, what do we get, right? Right to the 1618 as we hit the median line, right? That's categorized under shit that is not random, right? So that promise you guys that's algorithmically driven, right? It's just we as human beings, once again, you hear me say this all the time, we are not that precise, right? We just aren't, right? So that's likely, right? So as we tag the median line, we get the retrace. Now we get up to the -100. So you can kind of see it could be 1, 2, 3, right? So let's think about that. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, does it look any better? I mean, maybe, right? The 2 is not so exaggerated, but all right. So that right, we're kind of thinking this through on the fly. So if this is 1, 2, 3. Right, we know that would work technically. So let's oh fuck, we'll just do it that way. So let's go here on the fly and see if this plays out any better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the implication would be this is the 3. The 4 we're still seeking here. 1, 2. So we'd have to, let's get it labeled up. We'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get it up here. Let's get up to go subminuet. Okay, so we'll go here. Oh shit, God, they changed all these colors. I got to tell you, I don't like them because they're not as bright as they used to be. All right, does that look brushy? I mean, it's hard to see. I don't know if it's hard to see for you guys. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're not violating any rules or guidelines here. I'm now, you'll recall, I'm making good use of this completed impulse here that I've got to account for somewhere. I got a very abrupt 4, right? Again, COVID, right? It's news driven, panic selling. Then up I go and complete the 5. All right, well, so if that's the case, then coming off of this low, I'm looking for, right, 38. All right, so we've got from the low. Now, could we be done there? That's the big question, I think. So you've got two possible counts. The way I'm looking at it, which in that earlier count, which would be that we completed the impulse up here. So now if that's the case, then we're looking for the entry here. Now, I'm assuming I don't need to relabel here. You guys can stay with me here. So 1, 2, 3, pardon me, 1, 2, 3, 4 here for the curve with low, we complete. Well, that would put us, right, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Look how nice that is. All right, so to come down here and get this structure where we tag the median line to retrace back down to this, now note, we'd have now this is visible range, right? So if I push this over here and we can just focus on what's here, but we got a little bit of a divot here. Now if I bring over some of the other, all right, so you'd be including the swing down as well as the swing up. Well, you'll note there's a little bit of a divot here between the 50 and the 618, which is just what you kind of want to see, right? If we're going to be drawn back towards this. So one of two things would happen down here. Again, if it's ever offered back down here, likely there'd be a last stand here as buyers above this would be defending here. So you can see they'd likely defend at the 50, trying to keep it from falling to the golden zone. So where are we, right? Is this a 4 we're putting in, or are we still in search of the 2? Well, I think that comes back to how cleanly can we finish. Now you will note here that the set of median lines that I have on here is looking pretty good, right? So I think I've got to get the 2. It's the 2 that got that. Oh, maybe it was the 1.5. Yeah, it was the 1.5. All right, let's get this again with the colors. All right, so there's the, oh, that'll work here. All right, so here's our, we're just doubling the length here, so we get the outside corner. So I like this geometry coming off of the golden zone right here that gave us the golden corner. So this geometry seems to hold the market nicely. So that would kind of tee you up into the idea that we're in the process, right? Even if it's something like this, to come down here for the 2. Now I'm right in line with that geometry, and I'm, literally as Arixa said, it's back the truck up time, right? If we come down here, we can buy gold here under 1,600 or close to 1,600. That is definitely back the truck up, right? We're about to print one, again, whether you're doing it with Bitcoin or gold, right? We just, right? You know the drill, right? They're just firing up the printer, 1.9 trillion about to go back into the economy, right? So thus gold, Bitcoin, any inflationary hedge is going to be attractive, right? There's not a trader anywhere on the planet who's not aware of that. Now, so all of that done, can we finish here? Do we have the ingredients to get this finished down here? Well, let's see. So Erixis is back here. He's going WXABC, right? So it continues to be, are we done? So if I tried to label that, right, from here, if this is my B, I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now could that be? Well, yeah, of course, obviously, right? It could be. We're out here on the daily. If I go to a 4-hour, it gets a little trickier. A little trickier. So if this is the B, right, and whether you're, oh shit, there's a couple of different ways you can count it. Well, you can get 5 down here, A, B, C into the B, but how disciplined do we want to be here? So I think the alternate you got to consider. So one, all right, certainly we could be done here. So looking at that, I mean, clearly there's an alternate that would be a little bit more supportive of my looking at it, closer to 1600. So my view when I first brought this up, let's see where I have it here. Oh shit, this is definitely complicated. This is a little closer to yours. All right, let's see if we can finish it here. So I knew you'd go triangle here, right? So A, B, C. All right, there's a W, right? Because I can get 5 down here. Now I think you can go A, B, C into an X here, right? So then we can go, we can get the A, B, C into the Y here. Now, all right, that's steep, right? So as long as we don't overlap that X, we're okay. But I can go A, B, C here. So it's just a, it's not that one is right or one is wrong, right? It's not what I'm saying. It's kind of interesting to see how two Elliottians, right, that have really studied, would approach this. It could be either, right? That's the bitch of it, right? It could be either, right? It's just which one's more probable. Now, as I come down here, so here's the A matching what he's got here, A, right, going into the B. Oh fuck, here we go. So A, B, C into the B. Now I can get 5 here. Right, and I think again we're doing the same thing. So 1, right, you you left this blank, man. You didn't help me out here. So if we come back here, let's see if we can get that done. Right. So here's the alternate. You can't get this done in an impulse. Cannot do it. Right. So you got either you're going with the leading diag to finish it, which is obviously certainly could be. But if we really dig in here, let's go. Oh shit! Let's try 2 hours so we don't get too crazy with it. All right, this is kind of a bitch, right? So, per my count, the double top here, I'm planning the B here, which I think is right. You're putting the same thing, so we're both in line on that B. Okay, now I can get 5 down here. All right, this corrects it, right? So I don't think we have to wonder about that, even though shit, you could definitely get 5 in that as well. So you're gonna have this is. That's shit. Even if we go hourly, is it any better, right? I mean, it really looks like it's 5. Right? So, now is that why you did that? No, yeah, we're in sync there. I mean, it's not perfect, right? Remember, Elliott's not perfect. So you'd have to either you're doing it this way, A, B, C, to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess you'd have to do it that way. So you got to go A, B. All right, it's not the end of the world, right? It's just not going to be a perfect 3-wave structure. Sometimes you just got to improvise with what you've got there. So that's what I've got to work with, A, B, C. All right, so I've got 1. Oh, shit, I probably should label it here as we go. So I've got 1, 2. Could be the 3, right? But then we'd be overlapping, and it sure looks like an impulse, right? So now you're thinking, okay, well, that doesn't work in the way that I'd hope to find it. So let's go 1, 2. All right, let's just leave these down here for a second, and let's change that color. Let's go to micro, and then, God dang, I swear to God, these colors are just harder to see. Let's try that blue. Okay, the old blue is just easier. All right, so if I put this down, if I put these down here, oh shit, looks like I got to go up a degree. All right, so 1, 2. Well, is that 3, 4, 5 to finish? Well, it could be, but obviously there's an alternate in here, so let's consider that. Here, I'm going to take these down a degree because I'm going to get lost here if I don't. So let's get these down 1. Okay, so we've got a potential completed impulse down here as going 1, 2. Here's the internal impulse 3, 4, 5. So maybe, okay, maybe we're done. Let's get, let's do micro here. So let's see. Okay, so alternate 1, 2. All right, what are we doing here? 3, okay, 4, 5. All right, so what's key to that? So coming off of the proposed B, where we are in sync at this B. All right, so 1, I got 5 here. 2, if that's not 3, or what's left? 1. So 1, 2, here's a completed impulse, could be 3. Right, this has to go down lower. Right, this is why changing colors helps, and degrees. Okay, so coming back for a 4. Okay, well, can I finish that 4 here? All right, there's the 1. All right, as long as I stay above that, it looks like I got a nice little 3 going in here right now. Well, if I'm pulling from the 2, right? Okay, I'm in the zone, right? I'm in my probability zone between 23 and 38. That could roll over. I used some of yours because I have this template as well, Arixis, that you've got the volume zones, the price zone. I use these as well. I was amused to see that you use those. Not a lot of people use it. So coming down here, so as we come 4, if we're going for 5, let's look at that, right? So could we finish the 5? Let's just use the algo target. So what would we have completed down here? That would be the 3. That'd be setting up the 4 before we come down for the 5, right? To complete all of this down here. So let me draw it and see how we look relative to the larger degree. So we'd be coming down here from this B, 1, 2, okay, we're still seeking the 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let me go back out. Let's try an 8-hour. All right, now, can I do it with an 8? I may not be able to do it with an 8. Oh shit! I gotta go to a 24. Okay. All right. So where's the 2? Right. If it's 1, 2 or 1, 2, I think that reasonable possibility here. If it's completed, right? Can we get? Are we going to come down to this level here? Let me put the line there because that'll be easier to see. If I put that right there. Okay, can we get that low down here to under 1600? Well, if it's 1, 2, right, that may be, we're going to need more of a sell-off. If this is the 2, right, and it's 1, 2, 3, and we're coming down for the 4, well, now this, maybe this starts to look a little bit better. So here's that 50. Oh, God damn it. Try the 8. Okay, so this being the proposed 2 down here going for the 3. Well, now we're coming in right at the 50. So we've got a couple of things we can use for structure. All right, we use this one. So I would draw it up this way and say, okay, here's my back the truck up. I'm with you. All right, so this looks really gorgeous. Right, so here I'm looking 1618 to 1561, anywhere in that range. I sort of like the front edge of it here. Oh, let's get this. That's too much in my face. Let's get that over. All right, so another way to get there. That's really all I'm saying. A little bit cleaner on the count, right? If we can get this low, so this would bring us right down to it. So now what we'd be talking about here is a WXYXZ to get this to finish, right? But we'd be doing it. The C is extended, so it'd be A, B, C, right? So you'd be getting there through that, right? Do we have that much kick in the C to bring it down that low? Well, obviously, right, it remains to be seen. We're certainly here at the 38. Remember, again, if we're pulling from the proposed 2 with this being the 3, well, here we're stalling right at the 38. So per Arixis count, right, we certainly, fuck, right? I mean, it's a 5, right? If you don't want to be hardcore, you say, fuck it, it's a 5, right? I'm a buyer, I'll take it, right? If I have to take it lower, okay, I can take a little drawdown on that. I mean, I don't know that you'd want to ride it all the way down from where we're sitting right here at 1725 down to 1618. Probably not, right? Probably not. So it's a question of whether you want to go for it here and just on the idea like, okay, that's a 5. That's all I need to see is a good 5. Or if you want to be ultra disciplined and say, well, shit, I'm not sure I can finish that cleanly. I don't love the diag as the finish. Okay, well then you're looking for lower prices. Or of course, the alternative is buy it here, reasonable stop, right? So the risk reward here, his risk reward is what, 9.3 to 1. Hard not to be attracted to that. Oh, and you can probably do it this way as well. Just get a little channel on that. Looking if I can get just wicks here. So maybe, right, just not quite getting there. It's hard not to like it, right? So Stokes are going. Oh, this is your RSI candle. So we hit 30. We got a little double bottom here. So thus the candles reflect that color, and we got down to the, well, I guess you'd call it the buy zone here on the VZO and the PZO. All right, so all it's hard to get, like, hard not to like it. So just there you go. So it's just a question of, how much do you want to lean into needing that clean 5 to finish, or there's certainly, this is very valid. Just say A, B, fuck it, it's 5, right? And I got all the ingredients here. I got all the momentum indicators saying go. Now, for me, this would not be back the truck up, right? It's not quite. I want it to be. If I'm backing the truck up, I want this to be fucking perfect, right? So for me, down here, I'm backing the truck up. Here, right, I back the shopping cart up. Here, bring me the truck. All right, shit, I went long there, guys. Okay, that really interesting count. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So there you go. Lots of things to chew on, and definitely plenty of great choices today. Just beautiful work from you guys today. Really, it's just a beam with pride, if I can say it that way, right? Really psyched to see how good you guys are getting. Okay, there we go. All done. I guess we'll wrap up there for the day, and I think you got, what do you got? You got Monty tomorrow, and then Tuts on Thursday, and now I'm scheduled to have back surgery on Friday. We don't know what time of day that's going to be, so maybe I'm doing Bitcoin on Thursday, or maybe I can do it Friday morning. Waiting to see. Okay, guys, there we go. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.